Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I come to talk with you again. Hello.
Oh my god, dude. Damn. Oh.
I did it. Have you ever watched the Trolls movie?
Like bits and pieces.
Like Poppy? Okay, well, they sing that song, and then the cute little troll goes out and he goes, "Hello." And I love it. I love it. I thought it was okay. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Love it.
Enough of me being weird. How are you?
I'm doing good. Fresh start, ready to kind of do all the things. I am a little bit stinky. So if anybody has smell-o-vision, I'm sorry because yeah.
I mean, I bet you
I
smell better than a dead body.
have you ever smelled a dead body?
Well, dude, I've been in the same room as a dead body.
Yeah. Like coming into a dead body, like finding one is
Oh,
like,
it's
whoa.
yeah, also, I always explain, I was like, "You know how a dead animal smells, like, in the heat?"
Well, and there's some things like in healthcare that once you smell, you'll never forget. Like the smell of someone dying of cancer has a very distinct smell. At least it did back in the day. I wonder if it still does. And then someone with C. diff. You will never in life forget the smell of someone with C. diff. It is, I can smell it now.
Oh, I mean,
Hmm.
that's why I have all of, like, props, hats off to healthcare workers, because I that life ain't for me.
It ain't for me neither.
Give me everything else. I can handle everything else. Mm-mm, I can barely handle my own kid's puke.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that. Definitely not puke, but not crap either. So, really, any of it.
Yeah, mm-mm, gross. Now
So,
my stomach hurts.
yeah, I don't like it. Well, welcome, Chaos Crew, to another episode of Crime and Chaos, where we dive into some of the most chilling true crimes while embracing a little bit of chaos along the way. I'm Krista, and
I'm Lee.
today we're diving into a case that Lee's going to cover out in New Jersey, and I actually don't know much about it. I think that there's like a special guest, I guess you would say, that'll be on it, but we'll see. What you got?
So, okay, so I mentioned this to a friend of mine, and
Mhm.
she was like, "Oh my God, did I just see what I thought?" Because remember how I sent you that video? I'm like, look, and I sent her the video too. I was like, "Oh my gosh, hard at work, he," or whatever. And she was like, "Did I just see blah 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 blah?" I'm like, You sure did?" She was like,
Yes.
"I love that." Like, she was like, "I love it." I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
good, good." So it makes me happy that people actually heard about it. So, are you ready
Yay.
for are you
Yeah,
ready
I'm
for them?
excited. I don't think I'm gonna be too scared, so I'm excited.
No. So, we're gonna call this masterpiece Mysteries of the Whispers in
Ooh,
New Jersey Pine Barrens. Are you like that?
I do.
You like that?
I love it.
All right. So, the New Jersey Pine Barrens is a vast, mysterious region that covers over 1 million acres of land in southeastern part of New Jersey. It's known for its dense forests, sandy soil, and unique ecosystem. The Pine Barrens has a long been, or I'm sorry, Pine Barrens has a long place and a long history of being this, like, I don't know how to explain it, but people are like, this forest and this the Pine Barrens has things that no other forest has. Like, there's just something about it.
Is it in a natural forest or a national forest?
Yeah, it's a natural forest. It's like long.
Or
Say
like
it.
a state forest?
Yeah, it's like a state park. Yeah.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Noted.
Okay. Beneath its natural beauty and serenity lies a deeper layer of folklore, paranormal activity that has captured imaginations of people who are visiting, and the locals, they're no stranger to, it's kind of like the Appalachian Mountains,
That's
it's kind of,
exactly what I was thinking.
so it's kind of like that. Like, they know, don't go in the forest by yourself, basically, because this is what happens. Okay. The Pine Barrens is home to a variety of rare plants and animals, many of which are found nowhere else in the world, like I said. The region's distinctive landscape includes vast stretches of pine forests, wetlands, and freshwater streams, all shaped by its sandy, nutrient poor soil. I'm wondering if that's like why it's so sandy.
That could be, you would think, yeah.
Okay, well, all right. Anyways, historically, the Pine Barrens was inhabited by the Lenape Native Americans. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, but
L
it was inhabited by a group of Native Americans who lived off the land hunting, fishing, and gathering plants. Their influence on the area is still present today and in place names and certain practices tied into the land. So their culture is still ingrained into the Pine Barrens, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, I totally love the whole Native American culture. Feel very connected. Well, we talked about this before.
So yeah, so when I was going over it, I'm like, okay. And as I'm reading it out loud, like what I wrote, I'm like, holy crap. You know how like you just don't think when you're like looking at stuff
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
just like going, you're just like focusing on getting it done. Now that I'm like actually reading it out loud, like here comes the Native American piece again.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Not weird, but
Interesting.
so in the 18th and 19th centuries, European colonizers moved into the region, establishing small villages, ironworkers, and mills. While some of these communities thrived, the isolation of the Pine Barrens, combined with its harsh, unpredictable terrain, meant that many settlements were eventually abandoned. The remnants of these old towns, along with the surrounding of the wilderness, have provided a backdrop of eerie stories that surround the area today. So, essentially, from what I was reading and what I got was this was the that group. I really, it's bothering me. I seriously need to know how to say that tribe's name because I don't want to be
How do you
disrespectful.
spell it again?
It is Lenape.
Lenape.
Lenape. Okay.
That's a guess. That's a guess. I don't know. I mean, I
I
don't know.
don't know.
Uh,
I don't know.
Le, not. Yeah, I can't read Indian, I guess, or Native American. I can't read it. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but it's a tribe.
Okay.
And I'm reading here they had a stable lifestyle, establishing villages, subsidizing through hunting, fishing, and gathering and horticulture. So that's a fun fact about this tribe. Anyways, off track. See, everybody's like, we go off track so much. History lesson for everybody. A poor one at that. Why I'm not a teacher. So, one of these paranormal folklore stories is the legend of the Jersey Devil,
Joyzy Devil.
the Jersey Devil.
Mm.
So, it's the most famous and enduring legend from the Pine Barrens and is a tale of the Jersey Devil, aka it was born and raised in the Pine Barrens, basically.
And there's only one.
Supposedly,
Wow.
yeah. So this cryptid has been a part of folklore since the early 18th century. Can you, like, 18th century? That's a long time.
Well, isn't that when their land started getting taken over?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's still one of the most widely recognized urban legends in New Jersey. So that tells you.
Well, and it's kind of like, is it West Virginia that has Mothman?
I don't know. Is it West Virginia? But I thought Jeepers Creepers was based off of the Mothman, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's West Virginia. It's said to have been
I could be wrong.
seen. Okay, we're getting off track. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. So the story dates back to 1735 when a woman named Mother Leeds, not Lees, Leeds,
Check.
so she was living in the Pine Barrens and she gave birth to her 13th child.
Bad number.
Well, one, 1935, there's probably hardly any medical intervention, right? And I'm
No,
assuming childbirth, like mortality rate, like for women and children, were pretty high.
you're just raw dogging life out there.
Yeah, let alone having 13 kids. I feel like you're raw dog in life if you have 13 kids in general, because take me
Yeah.
out. According to the legend, after years of struggling with an overwhelming family, she cursed her unborn child, wishing that it would be the devil. When the child was born, it was transformed into a monstrous creature with the head of a goat, the body of a kangaroo, and wings like a bat, and hooves for feet.
Now, I said this earlier this week to you. I'll fight a shark. I am not fighting a kangaroo. I
Did you
am
get that
not.
video that I sent you of
Dude,
the dude?
yeah.
Straight
I've seen a
boom.
yeah, I mean, you gotta fight a kangaroo, and you lost me there, so now I'm kind of scared, but I'll listen.
The creature allegedly flew off into the Pine Barrens where it has haunted the area ever since.
Mary Lead had 13 kids. The
Other
13th coming
leads,
out. Mother Leeds had 12. Her 13th child she cursed.
because she had an overwhelming family.
And so when she gave birth, it turned into a demon and flew off.
I'm assuming it came out looking like a kangaroo.
She'd be like, Sir John, we have a problem. Like, something ain't right here.
What's that name? Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah.
Wasn't that with Jack Black, right?
No clue. Probably.
So there's no concrete evidence of this ever taking place. Well, I mean, it was 1735. Okay, I'll give it to you. But the story has remained a part of New Jersey's cultural fabric. Over the years, countless sightings of the New Jersey Devil have been reported, and it's from those who are venturing into the Pine Barrens. Okay. The description of the creature vary, but it's very common, and it's kind of like the stories are all the same with certain details,
Hmm.
which include it's eerie. Well, yeah, it's scary as shit. If I saw a
Yeah.
kangaroo looking bat with a head of a goat,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
There's a
Glow,
problem.
right. Glowing red eyes,
Mm, don't like it.
piercing scream. So when I was looking this up, I heard the scream, and it was like a,
Your sounds are like on point right now. Today.
but but amplify it by like 1,000
Mm,
and a higher pitch.
okay.
Okay. I was waiting all day to do that with you. I was like, this is my moment.
I love it.
And it's unnaturally fast way of moving. So the wings, it's not a baby bird. Yeah.
Okay. I
It go ahead.
I just know this is killing me, but I just know that New Jersey moms ever are like everywhere in New Jersey are saying, Frankie, Frankie, you want me to call the Jersey Devil? Like a threat, like, hey, little Frankie, you want me to call the Jersey Devil?
Oh, that's so funny.
Because
Miss
that's, yeah,
Petunia.
Sweet Petunia is what.
Sweet, yeah, sweet Petunia. Um, no, but can you imagine just like going and venturing off, right? Being a teenager again and tripping, and then you see some shit like above your head, and you'll be like, okay, is it me just tripping? Or, or
Yeah,
is this real?
like a really bad trip. Don't do drugs because that's how you get missing. Side note. But also, like, not only that, you know that they're doing the whole, okay, you go to this woods, you turn your lights off, honk your horn 3 times, and then the New Jersey
Yeah.
Devil will appear. Like, you know that's a thing out there.
Right. What do we the bridge where
Yeah.
we are.
Crybaby Lane, Headless Motorcycle Man.
Yeah, the mommy bridge. So my mom, okay, when she was alive, and we would spend time together, off track, but she would say, "You know why the mom it's named Mommy?" I'm
I
like,
know this.
"No,
I know this one.
why?" She was like, "Because a baby kept on screaming, 'Mommy.'"
Yep.
I'm like,
I knew
"You're
that one.
Ugh.
That's a good one.
All right. Anyways, and so it's often said that it's responsible for mysterious deaths that occur of the livestock around in that area and unexplained disappearances and other strange occurrences around in the area.
So, unexplained, bro, if the I'm just gonna say, and for the listeners, like, I hope you're mind blown too. If this story that you're telling me ropes in with the story that I'm about to tell you, that I have refused to tell you what I'm doing. If these two stories rope in, I'm going to shit my pants.
I'm because you haven't told me. You're like, I'm gonna leave it for a surprise.
Yes.
You said something like on TikTok earlier, but you didn't really like, you're like, I'm not gonna go, like, I'm not gonna tell you, but
Yeah, but I'm gonna lose it if they ironically enough are tied into each other.
yeah. Okay. Well, I'm excited now.
Okay, me too.
We have something to look forward to now.
Mhm.
The Jersey Devil has become a symbol of the Pine Barrens so much that it's even incorporated in the local branding, and it continues to be a subject of fascination and cryptozoologists, paranormal enthusiasts alike. And in fact, the creature was officially named the Jersey Devil by locals in the early 1900s after the sightings had become widespread.
Okay, so it's not just a couple people, a couple kids like we
It's
said or
right, but it's kind of like that thing again, right? Like, I mean, we don't have kids, we shouldn't have kids listening to our podcasts, right? But it's kind of like I seen Santa Claus.
right.
And
Yeah.
then the kids are like, I seen Santa Claus
Mhm.
too, right? So maybe it's that the placebo effect,
Yes.
right? That's
It's kind of
kind of
like a
like
placebo, like they're feeding them a fake
it's
and
yeah,
they believe the fake essentially.
but it's crazy like 1735, like, and it's been around since the 18th and 19th century.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to hold some validation in there because a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's just a big crock of shit," and eventually it would fizzle out. The fact that it hasn't fizzled out this far is that's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I wonder how that came about. Like, remember how we always say there's some truth?
There's always some truth to every rumor.
So maybe because it was her 13th child, like there were birth defects that they
Sure.
never like knew about, and it just kind of like trickled down, and
Right.
maybe I don't know, and it just kind of a unfortunate event became a legend.
Right. I'm so interested.
Me too, but we don't have time to dive down rabbit holes, Krista. We gotta stay on
This is
track.
true. Okay.
Ready, set, go.
Okay.
So beyond the Jersey Devils, the Jersey Devil, the Pine Barren is home to a variety of ghost stories and reports of the paranormal activity. So one of the most well-known stories is the White Lady. So it's a figure said to haunt the woods, particularly near the abandoned settlements and old roads. So that just gave me like a visual, like abandoned
Completely.
roads.
Yeah,
Like I think of gravel. Like, you know
for
what I'm
sure.
talking about? You see the scary movie and it's just like dark and you see the car headlights and you're just moving really slow. That's what I picture.
It's there.
It's there. So there's different versions of the White Lady, but they all share one common theme, and it's loss and sorrow. So when I think of this, I think of La Llorona because she is full of sorrow. She's looking for kids to love, right? And she ends up stealing. You hear her cry, right? Because people are like, get in here, get in here. La Llorona is going to come and get you, get in here. And if you're bad, don't respond to the cries. If you hear a cry, don't respond to the cry because that means you're going to die, right? She's going to
Oh
kidnap
my
you.
yeah, I have never in life heard this.
You've never heard of La Llorona?
I've heard you say like her name, but I was just like, oh, she's like I didn't know she had a whole ass story behind her.
Yeah, like it's another urban legend.
Mm.
So some versions say that she was a mother who lost her children in a tragic accident and now roams the woods weeping for her lost family. Similarities.
Okay.
So it's except for La Llorona killed her own kids because her husband went I believe her husband went with another woman. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that that was like the story behind it.
I believe you.
I'm not confident. Others suggest that she was a young woman who died in childbirth or in a violent encounter and is doomed to wander the Pine Barrens forever. Some have claimed to see her ghostly figure dressed in white floating. How cliche, floating,
Really.
really? So floating throughout the Pine Barrens, and some even said they heard her cry in the distance. Again, similarities.
Absolutely. Do you think it's Mary Leeds? Mother
Could
Leeds?
be. Could
Okay.
be.
Okay.
These 2 could be related. I mean, you got
Yeah.
her devilish son, now you got her.
Right. And then she like felt bad because she cursed him, so now she's roaming the woods.
I mean, mother of the year.
Yeah. Right up there with Casey and go carry on. I digress.
I feel better as a mother.
Yeah.
So and it like, the crying, it, like, stops as soon as it starts, basically. So, in addition to the White Lady, there are many reports of ghostly apparitions and mysterious noises in the Pine Barrens. People have heard phantom footsteps when no one's around, disembodied voices in the wind, and rustling in the trees that contributed to I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Attributed to animals. Like, the
Oh,
sounds, they
sure.
can't be attributed to animals. We're gonna have to cut some of that out.
No, you're fine.
Some even claimed to have seen lights in the woods which appear to move on their own and only disappear when approached. So I think aliens.
Could be. Or it could just be some demonic figure roaming the earth that has the ability to do that, you know?
Could be. Should we go see?
No, I'm good. I'm goodly.
My honeybee.
Nope. I'm good. Thank you, though.
So, one popular eerie thing that people say happens is the sound of whistling or a faint, like, humming melody. Can you
Mm
imagine?
hmm.
That's what I think of. I
I'm
think of
out.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't really even go outside at night at all. So I would probably never be wandering in the woods listening to humming because I would have a heart fallout. It would be done.
Right. Locals and other people believe that it's just, it's related to the history of the land and the hardships and suffering. Because as we know, Native American land was stolen. Like
Sure.
it,
Absolutely.
it was not,
That's just what it is.
it is what it is.
Yep.
And from what I've read, right, in the Native American culture, it's like their souls are so attached to their land. Like it's theirs. And if you think about it, like if you don't I mean, I'm not going to go quietly if you pull me out of my home and say this is my home. No, I worked hard for my home.
But we could go on and on about things that the indigenous people have
Right.
endured.
But my ass is going to haunt this house and make it a living hell too.
Absolutely.
But I do think, and I'm not saying that, they're making people's lives a living hell. I just think that their souls are just so connected to the land and what their culture and what they believed in. I think that could be a huge possibility that, yes, what people are hearing is, the souls that are still there that didn't want to leave.
Right.
Mm. So despite of the supernatural, the Pine Barrens remains popular destination for hikers, nature lovers, and even those to hope in hopes of catching a glimpse of the paranormal. So I would be one of those, but I would probably be the one that dies trying to seek adventure. I would have my FAFO moment,
And we all
and it
have
would be
them.
too late. It would be
Yeah.
too late.
I mean, it looks beautiful though, really, the property.
Yeah.
It does
And
very nature.
just seems like that land, because if you look at it, it just has a whole bunch of resources.
I just seen that little guy you were talking about.
The Jersey Devil?
Yeah, he ain't a bit cute. He ain't a bit cute.
I mean,
Yeah,
I always say newborns aren't cute, but that newborn is ugly.
that's bad. Yeah.
It's bad. So the local legends persist, and every year there are reports of strange encounters, both by those out in the woods and by locals who live near. Some people have claimed to hear sounds of wings flapping above them, the Jersey Devil.
Absolutely.
And when they look up, they don't hear anything and they don't see anything anymore. So it
Hmm.
kind of reminds me of Jeepers Creepers
Yeah, it does. It really does.
because you can hear the that's what I
Sure.
think of. Man, we don't even need to add sound effects into this one. I got you covered. So others describe seeing strange shadowy figures darting between trees, disappearing quickly as they came. And the most scariest accounts of all are people who feel like they're being watched, and a sensation that many say it's lingering of the spirits who once was inhabiting the Pine Barrens, which that was their home. So again, that could be
Sure.
contributing to the Native Americans people who were there.
Sure.
Local authorities and residents often dismiss the stories as an exaggeration, or they say, nah, you're overreacting. You heard about our stories, you hear about other people's experience, you're overreacting. Again, it's that placebo effect, right?
Oh, yeah. Or manipulation.
Right. Like, I'm going in scared already. You know how people say, like, your mind is a manifestation, and like you can go and you're already
Yeah.
scared, you're already expecting it. So now you're manifesting it in your head.
And then it happens.
And yeah. So it's mind playing tricks in a place as quiet and as isolated as the Pine Barrens, or whether something is more sinister in the shadows is a question that has kept the legend of the Pine Barrens alive for generations and generations. So, in a sense, like it's kind of like a thing. Like, I hope it never goes away. And I hope people like never get hip to, like, it's not real. Okay. Go stay
Yeah.
the night. Go stay
Right.
the night. Let me know
So,
if it's not real.
has there like been a lot of missing people around Pine Barrens or
So, from what I understood from it is it's more so of people going hiking and never returning,
mm,
or they're going out there and they're getting lost and they succumb to the climate of weather, things like that. Because if you think
sure.
about it, like what is it? Because like if you think like when you go hiking in the woods, right? Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to take markers to make sure where you go, because you can get lost and confused in the woods because everything looks the same. Your brain's not trained to,
Oh, there's no way. No way.
yeah, it's just the same scenery. So I'm assuming people start to get that. It's not cabin fever, but it's that like the being like disassociated, right? Like, oh my God, where am I at? Where am I at?
Yeah, it's like
And
disassociate. Yeah.
yeah, and you're just getting lost at that point. Like it's happened to me in our local quarry, like just going hiking.
Mhm.
You're freaking out because you're like, where where's the entrance? Where did I come from? Where's the road?
And there's no worse feeling, in my opinion, than to feel like you're being watched. Like, I've had that feeling, like, multiple times, and it is the most bone-chilling, tingle down your spine feeling.
Have you ever lived in a haunted home?
I mean, it's not been proven. We've had some things happen in our childhood home that was really odd, but, we can't flat out say that it's haunted.
Haunted. So the home that I lived in when I was like in middle school and high school, that was haunted, and you felt like people were watching. It was so uncomfortable to where, like, when I wouldn't do laundry at night,
Really?
I
Because
would
you probably
not.
had an older basement?
It was an older basement, but there was like a cellar looking like so it's a wet basement, it's not a finished, it's an
Sure.
unfinished basement, and you went down the stairs, the deep freezer and the fridge were right there, and then you
Mm,
turn, there's a dark stone room with a wooden door open, and it was pitch black, and then you go where the, washer and dryer was, like, down a little bit, and right where the dryer was, you turn around and there was another room just like that, dark, and I think my dad did this on purpose because there was a yellow chair always right in the middle of the room,
that's bizarre.
like a yellow kid's chair.
Hmm.
So
You
and,
never
like,
moved it?
I was not going in there because my luck, I would get locked in that stupid fucking room.
Yeah.
No, I'm not stupid. I'm the one that survives in the scary movie.
And you wouldn't even go downstairs to do laundry at night, so you're definitely not gonna touch the yellow chair.
No, and it was
But I
so
wouldn't
bad
either.
right, it was so bad to where, like, my dad would see figures, like, shadow figures dart across
Mhm.
the room, and it got to the point to where we came home one night, and my brother was sitting in the driveway in the dark, and he was like, "I'm
Interesting.
not going back into the house."
Hmm.
Mhm. It was bad. I mean, nothing ever happened, but you wanna say that you're get out of the shower and feel like you're being
"Don't
watched.
look at me. You
Yeah,
stop
"I'm
it."
shy. I'm
Yeah.
shy." Oh, yeah. So that's the story of New Jersey Pine Barrens.
Wow. That is really interesting because in the story that I'm going to tell you on the next episode, this does kind of intertwine. And I realized that they are only an hour apart, which, you and I did not really discuss what stories we were doing much at all. So I'm interested in seeing where it could go.
I'm excited to hear about it because if it's
Me
only an
too.
hour away,
Hmm. So you'll have to tune in next week for this other part that could or could not be, or we could just be crazy. I could be
we
crazy.
could, or we could just have a strong assumption.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can have a really strong assumption on that. Huh.
So,
Are you ready for some chaos?
yes.
Because we all know that you're all tinsel and
Mhm.
Buddy the Elf over here.
Indeed. Indeed.
That would be your Christmas nickname, Tinsel.
Love it, Lee. I
Tally
love it.
Tinsel.
Tinsel tits. Love it.
Tinsel Tits. There you go. You know what? If hard times ever come over you, Krista, you got your show name.
Tinsel tits. Not to the stage. Okay. So, do you want to talk about the game?
Sure. It's called what okay, so it you just told me this
You want me to tell?
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, it's a lie detector chaos. And what we're going to do is we'll each tell three stories. It can be
Short stories.
yeah, it's either true crime or paranormal, and one out of the three is a lie. So you have to detect mine, and I have to detect yours.
Okay. Perfect.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. So when I was growing up, we also had a very creepy basement and also felt like I was being watched like a lot. And at one moment I come running up the steps, told my mom. Then like later that night there was an instance and like the next day. So clearly she calls the cops and it turns out that we had someone from the carnival under our steps, like staying. That's number 1.
You had
Number
a
2,
hideaway.
huh?
Hideaway.
Yeah. Number 2 is that let me see what she would be. So, my aunt's cousin, I guess, weird. She actually went to the Jersey Shore and sat between two people. They all ended up leaving. They thought that they were going to do illicit drugs together. And she hooked up with the guy, and the guy ended up killing the other girl. That's story number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So, story number 3 is that when I was about 15, my mom got into an altercation and went to jail. And that was on April Fool's Day. So I had to call my family. Of course, we didn't have cell phones, like, that wasn't that big of a deal. I had to call my family and say, Mom's in jail, you know, I am here with the two little boys, my brothers, and nobody would come to our house because it was April Fool's Day and they thought I was lying. That's my three stories.
I'm gonna have to go with story number 1.
You think that that's the lie?
I do.
No, dude, it's real.
Shut the fuck up, really?
Dead ass. Yeah, dead ass. It was a
Okay,
carny.
then maybe story number 3, because the story number 2, there was way too much detail in that one.
That one's a lie.
Shut the Krista, you know what? You're really good at lying and it scares me. You missed your calling as a detective in interrogation.
I did not break. You know what I did? How I didn't break? I wasn't looking at you. I had a different screen pulled up because I knew if I was looking at you, I would break it. It would be done. To wrap it up, story number 1 is true. There was indeed someone, but it happened almost every year for several years, and it sounds so bizarre. So that was true. The whole New Jersey. So I stumbled when I was like trying to find out the connection. I was like, my aunt's cousin or whatever. That's a total lie. Made it up just as I was talking. And then number 3 is true. That did happen, and my aunts wouldn't come to the house. They were like, "Hi, April Fools." I called my dad at Whirlpool because he worked second shift. He wouldn't come home. Yeah. Finally, they realized, like, hey, Clyde Police is calling. Yeah, it's real. So, shout out to Mom. She was a little wild, but yeah, that's mine. Let's hear yours.
That's funny. Okay. So when my dad was growing up, they had a home, like this was his childhood home, and he had friends over.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were watching movies, like you could hear, because there was like a pool table down in the basement, and
Mm-hmm.
you could hear people like playing pool and crashing. And my grandpa came down and my grandma came down, and they were like, well, quit playing that. Why are you playing that? You're not supposed to be down there. So they would say, no, no, it wasn't us. And then, of course, they didn't believe them because kids, they lied to not get in trouble. So eventually it would happen over and over again. They would constantly get in trouble. And one night, my grandpa and grandma heard it when they were all together. And my
And
dad
nobody
was like,
was
see,
there.
see. And nobody was there. When, yeah. So there's that one.
Okay, that was number 1.
That was number 1. When I was a baby, we lived in a home that was super, super haunted. Like, there were like, it was poltergeist activity. And one day, my dad, when he was in the bathroom, something locked him in the bathroom. He couldn't get out. And like literally, like he was shaking the door and he couldn't get out. And my sister connected to that would say, like, hey, like there was something in there. I saw something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the house right next door to that. And my mom said that there would be like cabinets open, the door would be swinging back and forth really fast. So, yeah, there's that one.
Okay.
And when we were in high school, so we all played like the Ouija board and whatnot. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a heathen. I played the Ouija board, whatever. I'm here. I've said a lot of Hail Marys and Our Fathers, trust me. So when we were in high school, we would play the Ouija board and we took it down to that bridge that I was telling you about. And there was like a huge circle of stones just right there and one stone in the middle. It was like really creepy. And as we were playing, we heard a swimming sound, right? And then all of a sudden you hear a faint scream and a splash.
The hell?
Right, right. So one is my grandma's home and grandpa's home. Two is the poltergeist home. And three is the high school story.
Two's a lie.
No, two is true.
Really?
Two is true.
Really?
I can tell you where that house is too.
Okay, so
It's up for rent a lot too.
yeah, no, it has to be 3 because 1, your dad told me that story.
Okay, yes, it is three. So
Really?
there's some truth to that story.
Yes, okay, okay. That's
There's
what you threw
some,
me off on that.
yeah, there's some truth to that story though. There was just no faint scream and something splashed.
Dude, the splat I totally thought it was okay, so yeah, we have new careers.
We do. I'm not a storyteller, but I mean, shit. I suck at lying though. I was just like,
Yeah, yeah, definitely on the spot. I love it. That was so much fun.
I know maybe public speaking isn't our future.
So, now that we have wrapped
Oh
up,
my goodness.
you do this every time we record. Do you have another hole in
I
your britches?
no, I think it's like a nervous like tick and I just like wind it up.
What?
No, I think it's like a nervous thing because I don't want people being like, she's on, what's
Oh,
she
yeah, yeah, yeah.
doing? You know what I mean? So no, it's like a nervous tick that I have, and I'm just like, and my
Yeah,
nose piercing constantly like itches my inside of my nose, and I'm like, okay,
true,
do I have
true.
like a booger hanging out of my nose? Because
You
that's what it
don't.
feels like.
You don't.
So I don't know if it's because we're on camera.
Could be. But we're pumping out the YouTubes,
We are, we are.
and
And that's why
we're
I'm
getting some
like,
decent
don't
views.
think that I'm,
Yeah,
because I'm like, I'm not. It's just a nervous habit. And you'll see me do this.
and that feels good. That feels right.
I do it and I don't even know that I'm doing it.
My gosh. Well,
I know.
I am going to stay in New Jersey and I want you to come along because we have one more story to cover before we go on to Massachusetts. So
Ooh.
follow me into Jersey. It's going to be fun. Now, I will give a little bit of a warning. This next episode does contain some graphic and sensitive material. So just a heads up when we go into that. Otherwise, have the day you deserve.
Or don't.
Love you.
Stay spooky. Ooh.
Stay chaotic. Bye bye.
Guess who's back? Back
Back
again.
again. Chaos
Krista.
Crew
Yeah.
is back again.
Tell a friend. Guess who's
Come
back?
on. Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Guess who's
Nice.
Meh, 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 banana.
I love it. We just had the most awesome break because listeners, some maybe don't know that. Did you just see the face? I had a different screen up. So, most of you probably don't know that sometimes when we record, we're in person, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we record 2 episodes in one night, and that is exactly what we're doing. So, we just had a little break, but there was so much funny little additives to our conversation that I was like, oh my God, I wish we were recording right now. That's what I was thinking, Lee.
Oh my goodness. Well, you found out I love Rush Hour. Jamal.
Yes. I love it. I have never seen that. Maybe like because it was one earlier in the day, right?
Mhm.
I mean, earlier back in the day.
Yeah, I think like 1990 is when the first one came, or 1999 was when the first one came out, and then it kind of progressed, and there was like a new
Mhm.
one like in the mid early 2000s. There's like I think there's three. Rush Hour
Okay.
1, Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3. Yeah, I think there's three.
Yeah, I'm not a big movie person. I like to snuggle up and watch the credits, and that's about it. Like the opening credits with saying like their names and stuff, and
Okay,
then
Brandon.
I'm done. I'm
Are you
done.
sleeping?
Oh yeah.
No.
Huh? We went
Who you
to
lie to?
right. We went to a theater and it was like reclined seats. Girl, I passed the
Game
hell
over.
out. But I didn't feel bad because so did my little boy. We were snoozing.
I wanna go to the what are those called? The AMC, not AMC theaters, but the IMAX,
Yeah, they have one in
like
Crocker Park.
the 4D one.
Mhm.
I wanna go to that where the seats move and
Yeah, I
I wanna
probably
go.
would. Yeah, let me see what Pennifer's doing and we'll figure it
Well,
out.
you're gonna fall asleep.
For sure then, for sure.
Well, no, not if it's 4D.
You think I'll stay away? Yeah, I do one better.
Mm, it better be an upper.
For real, for real. All right. Well, hello, my dear old friend,
Hello.
and welcome back to another episode of Crime and Chaos, where we dive into some of the most chilling and spine tingling, creepy stories that we come along. And I'm your host, Krista Joe.
And I'm Lee Jew.
And today we're going to go deep into a case that spans over decades, leaving literal heartbreaking answers to be questioned.
Right. Side note, I figured out why I'm itching.
Why?
My earphones keep on pushing my glasses down, and I have a piece of hair stuck
My gosh, yes, that will do
because
that.
I was like, "I feel it. It's right there." Okay.
Mm,
Anyways, sorry.
totally fine. So,
You missed
Lee,
it.
I did. So,
Ugh.
the story that we're about to go over, I just want to say that there's some very uncomfortable things that we'll be talking about. It does involve a child. So, kind of a little disclaimer for anybody that might not be up to hearing those topics. But are you ready to get a little sad?
I don't like being sad, but I'll be sad for you.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it fun at the end because of course we will have a moment for chaos.
We love chaos.
Absolutely. So this is the story of Timothy Wiltsey. So he's this cute little bright-eyed 5-year-old boy who disappeared in 91 and it literally shook the nation. It was broadcasted near and far and it actually went on for 2 decades to
Oh,
finally right to finally reach a resolution. But before we get into it, I just want to also add that cut
good, because I burped right there.
I'm literally gonna just kind of re-up. Okay, so this all started May 25th, 1991. So it's Memorial Day weekend, and 5-year-old Timothy Wiltsey was reported missing by his mother, Michelle Ludzinski. She told police that Timothy had just vanished at a carnival in Sayreville, New Jersey. So it's a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. You're imagining it, carnival rides going, games, crowds of people, like literally enjoying the holiday weekend. And while there's so much happiness in that kind of weekend, it was also a weekend for distraught. So it's every parent's nightmare that we know for their kids to be missing. Even if it's like 2 minutes, I've had it happen and I've panicked. So police wasted no time launching into this extensive search, but days turned into hours, turned into days turned on to weeks. So questions started to get stirred up about mom's statement because it seems like he was there with just him and mom. So at first, when mom, Michelle, gave a statement, she said that Timothy just wandered off while she was buying a soda. Then she shifted her story that two men abducted him, forcing her into their car before leaving her on the side of the road.
Why didn't you say that at first?
Total big red flag with the inconsistencies.
That's like
So,
a fly that on the flagpole.
well,
Red flag.
and it's not even that the story shifted even a little bit. These are two totally ass opposite stories.
Right, it's not like one minor detail was left out. It was, "What you got what? Why didn't you say that at first?"
And I'm not judgy, but I'm just going to say that right there takes my respect down about 5 notches. So, that's where we are
Casey
so far.
Anthony.
Stop it. You wait. So the search is going on, and there's no trace of Timothy whatsoever. So at the time of the carnival areas, they find nothing. They're doing the wooded trails, they're doing the neighborhoods, nothing. When there's not a trail, that almost gives me a little bit of suspicious vibe too.
Mhm.
Like, because it was definitely premeditated, in my opinion, to make sure you don't forget anything or leave behind any trail. So,
Clean.
right, months later, in April of 92, Timothy's remains were discovered in a marshy area
Mm.
near Raritan Center in Edison, New Jersey, miles away from the carnival. His
Poor
death
baby.
was absolutely. His death was ruled a homicide, but the cause of death couldn't be determined due to the conditions of his remains. So there are some pictures available, and it was brutal. It was no accident. And of course, this is all my opinion, but it was just really meaningful. So the discovery of finding Timmy brought even more scrutiny to Mommy Michelle. So over the years, she's had a history of lying, erratic behavior, including like filling out false police reports and making up stories of Timmy's disappearance. But despite the suspicions, authorities didn't have enough evidence to charge her at the time.
Okay.
So you say Casey Anthony. I had Casey Anthony typed. Literally, I was like, this is Casey Anthony. Of course, Casey Anthony's story didn't come around till however long, but that's wholeheartedly what I'm thinking.
Right, because I mean, what mother, right? Like you're trying to find your kid, you're in a panic, and now you're like lying, right?
And
Like
some
you're lying to the police. You're trying to find your kid. Like where's the more lies like that you tell, like the longer it's gonna take to find your kid,
well, and you're just
dummy.
digging yourself in a hole deeper and
Right.
deeper and deeper. Like, how are you going to get out of this one? But you know what it is. You got to have the black and white and you have to have the evidence to be able to place some charges like that because the last thing that you want
Right.
is double jeopardy.
Her son was freaking cute. He
He
was
was a doll
such
baby,
he was absolutely adorable. Wow.
little doll baby. And I don't believe that there was other kids in the home. I'd never come across anything that said anything about Timothy's dad.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe he was somewhere and was at work and had a good alibi, but nothing, nothing about him at all. So the other sources that I come across stated that Michelle was kind of a party girl, wanting to live her life. She wanted to party and be single. Again,
Casey
Casey
Anthony
Anthony. Right. And where was Kaylee found?
in a marsh. What was it? Like woods, right? Right
In the
off the
pool. Wait.
Yeah, wait, at first they
Yeah,
said,
yeah, first it was the pool, but there's still like water involved. So I'm thinking, my gosh, did whoever do whatever they did to Kaylee, did they know this story before? Who knows?
well, because Kaylee was also found, in lack of better words, her remains were found, I believe, in trash bags, weren't they?
Correct.
And like the only really like identifier was like they had the hair and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, explain how your trunk smells like a dead body. It was just milk that spilled.
And even if we just had cell phones back in the day,
Right.
God, that would make the world of difference because at carnivals, the kids are so cute and they're doing all the things and they're taking the pictures and stuff like that. So somebody would have some kind of proof of anything, but nothing.
Did she fabricate that they were at the carnival? Like she actually like was alive at the carnival.
There are sources that confirmed that they were at the carnival.
Okay.
But what happened during or after, nobody knows because again, we didn't have cell phones, so it's not like you would text someone and be able to ping their phone. Who
Right.
knows what she did after leaving. But here's a really random bit that I want to add. So, all of this information came from Reddit user The Theorist Has Spoken. So, he did what I'm about to tell you, this whole insert, and I ate it up. So, The Theorist Has Spoken talks about this guy, Johnny, and how multiple witnesses, now, Johnny's not his real name, but
Changing it.
sure, Johnny, and how multiple witnesses were taking the stand and gave testimony under oath regarding the possibility of Johnny being involved in the murder of Timmy.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, I know that there can be random kidnappings and killings, but I would have to stem out to say that in all reality, the statistics are probably low. So, a lot of times it's someone some whatever. Anyhow, so here's Johnny, and Johnny's a convict out of Arizona. So there was one specific person who came forward that we'll call Bob.
Okay.
Bob was one of Johnny's boys, and they were young, 15 and 17. They were doing the most. So Bob got in the stand and stated that in the summer of 91, and he tells this whole story to Bob about having been at a big event and he saw a little boy wandering away from his parents who were fighting. So he then grabbed the boy and started to play out his sexual fantasies.
Oh,
Johnny then tells Bobby that the boy started to scream and he got scared, so he choked the boy to death. So here's a little backstory. When Bob and Johnny were 15 and 17, there was sexual activity going on between the two of them
okay.
that was not always wanted by the younger boy, Bob. So he was strong enough to fight him off and say, I don't want to do this anymore. This ends because they're on the run. Like they're literally just wheeling and dealing, robbing. And even though they're on the run, Bob cuts it off, goes, turns himself in, he gets put in jail. Okay? So who
Mhm.
does he later become cellmates with? Johnny. Johnny turns
Life
himself in.
full
Mm-hmm.
circle.
Yep. So Johnny, this is when he tells Bob this whole story about this boy. But Johnny is saying that this all happened in Georgia. So when Bob went forward and said X, Y, and Z happened, they were like, okay, we'll scour the area and Google, or not Google, we'll scour the area and find out if there's any boys that have been murdered or missing or anything from Georgia in this specific area that Johnny was said to have been.
Okay.
Well, there was in Google, so nothing came up in Georgia. The problem is he referenced Atlantic City, Georgia. That's not in Georgia.
It's
That
isn't it Jersey? Or yeah, New Jersey,
right.
isn't it?
Right. So swaying from his original story, saying that he was in Georgia, he just said, oh, I was in Atlantic City, Georgia. No, bro, that was a lie. He was in Atlantic City, New Jersey at the time of this alleged crime happened.
Just for my purposes, there is no such thing called Atlantic City, Georgia, right?
Yep.
Okay. One, how freaking dense are you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're an idiot.
Yep. So, without all the fancy search engines and the Google and things like that, like the detectives out in Arizona didn't have a lot of resources in Georgia. Like that's where it ended because that's where Bobby and Johnny was out in Arizona. So they're telling a story about Georgia. Arizona doesn't know anything. They switch it to Georgia. They're like, we don't know anything. And that's about that.
So it's just like a full, like, ring around the rosy type thing.
Or was Johnny lying about the whole entire thing just to scare Bob? Because Bob turned to Johnny and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So then Johnny tells Bob this whole story is almost like scaring him, like, well, I killed somebody over this.
Yeah, but how closely related is that to that little boy?
It's really weird, right?
And why would you admit that you're pedophile? Like
Mm-hmm.
that I just
Absolutely.
don't understand that. Like, why would you cast your name in that light?
This could have been Bob's payback to Johnny. Who knows? But I will tell you this. We're going to jump up to 2011.
Okay.
Advances in forensic technology and renewed interest in the case led investigators to revisit the evidence. A key piece was a blanket found near Timothy's remains. Multiple witnesses, including Michelle's old babysitter, identified the blanket, stating that it belonged to Timmy. So then, 3 years more in 2014, over 2 decades after Timothy's death, Michelle Ludzinski was arrested and charged with the murder of her son, Timothy.
So he had to have been like 30, right? 30?
Would have been.
In his 30. Imagine 25 years later
Hmm.
getting the justice that you deserved all along, right?
After all of that. And it was all from a blanket. Like, thank you, God, for
Right.
technology. I know it can be a scary thing, but to go from that to that, and I'm interested in knowing that who sparked this case up again, because
Right, what
kudos
opened
to
it?
you. Right.
Yeah, because normally it just cold case gets put on the shelf, but a lot more cases are coming out of the cold case shelf,
Mhm.
and they're being re-examined because, I mean, advances in technology,
Sure.
but they have to have reason. I mean, I would
Absolutely.
assume because you have to have the budget to pay the individuals.
Right. Right. So her trial began in 2016, so another 2 years. And prosecutors argued that Michelle, feeling overwhelmed and single and motherhood and wanting to party and yada yada, had killed her son and staged the disappearance. The defense, on the other hand, claimed that there was no direct evidence linking Michelle to Timothy's death, and the prosecution relied on circumstantial evidence.
You
After
can't lie with evidence. Like, you can't lie
evidence
with
is evidence, right?
right. Facts are facts.
Facts are facts. After weeks of testimony, the jury found Michelle Ludzinski guilty of first degree murder. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison without possibility of parole.
30 years. That's like 1 year,
I mean, that's like his whole life. And he had
literally.
50 more to go.
And
But stop there, Lee. This is
okay,
where
because
the
I'm
chaos comes into the conviction. This is not the end of the case. So in 2021, New Jersey's Supreme Court overturned Michelle's conviction, citing insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she was responsible for Timothy's death. She was released from prison and is said to be living in Florida with her sons, and as of now, the case is officially unsolved.
that bitch better play the lottery.
So what do you think? I like on one hand there's Michelle's whole lying and her whole testimony about the blanket and the original statement. On the other hand, there's lack of physical evidence. And then you got this random guy, Johnny and Bob.
Saying that, or Johnny saying, "Hey." But
Mhm.
again, think about it. Casey Anthony.
Mhm. That yeah,
Because sh
100%.
and guess who lives in Florida?
Casey Anthony.
What's I mean, nothing against Florida. I love Florida, right? Like, I like going there.
Florida
I
shows
don't
the
know.
hell out.
It does. It does. I love Orlando, okay? Miami too. But what is it about, like, everybody, like, these women and men flocking to Florida after like, is it like a, "Now I'm free, I'm gonna show out" type thing? Like,
Yeah, is it or does Florida have less strict rules and laws?
I don't know about that one.
There's got to be something because yeah, everything pops off in Florida all the time. Like
Is it
maybe it's
because there's
something in the
just
water.
beaches? Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe. It's
I don't know.
I mean, my
But maybe
hair
when we
is
get to
really good.
Florida, we can check into that. Note to
Yeah.
self when we
Note to
cover
self.
Florida.
I love
So,
Florida.
same. This case is just a tragic reminder of how complex and frustrating getting pursuit or getting justice can ultimately be. So, a little boy's life was cut short, and he was so, oh, sweet baby, love his heart, so cute.
No,
Was cut short after decades of investigation. Mom goes to jail, and then we're left with no
nothing,
answers. Nothing.
nothing.
So if anyone's familiar with this case or have other details, like I'd love to hear about it, hear from you. I mean, to keep Timothy's memory alive. And I'll say, like, my mom never even heard of this case because it
I've
says
never
that it
heard
was a
of it.
really big deal. And then when I asked mom, she's like, no, I never heard of it. She would remember this. Like her kids were the same age.
Right, you would have been, like, 3?
I would have been his age. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a couple years before I was born, but, I mean, I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I
and
mean
I'm shocked because we didn't realize that in 2021 that had to be in headlines of
mhm,
her you know, kind of getting into this whole thing and had been in prison, but she's clear now. They can't try her again. Like, it is a wrap.
Yeah, because double jeopardy. Jeopardy.
However, this was an hour north of Pine Barrens. Maybe, like, let's just say
He wandered off.
he wandered off into the woods. Like she was saying, she went to get a pop and he wandered off in the woods. And Joyzy Devil or Mother Leeds. She was
Yeah, the
looking for
white
a
lady.
boy. Yep, she was looking for a kid and mom wasn't around. So, could very well be.
Well, that was interesting, to be honest with you. And I'm surprised that you did something like this.
It was, yeah, I'm not into like doing kids, but
Yeah.
I had
Okay, let's
one.
rephrase that.
I'm not into covering cases on kids because it's hard for me.
Yeah.
But I had originally, and this was a really good story, and I encourage people to kind of look into it, is Tiffany Vellante. I really wanted to do her, and then I really wanted to do another little girl, but there was something with Timmy that kind of like Kristen Smith. Like there was just something that like clung to me on that.
Maybe it's your field hate for Miss Anthony.
That could be, but also because I have a 5-year-old, and then some of the details like I left out was his Ninja Turtle this or his sneaker was found in the shoe. Like that was one thing. They did find a sneaker when they actually found him. So, yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, that's so. But I don't know. Maybe she's innocent. You would think that they would have their ducks in a row now from how much technology's just improved in the last decade.
Right.
You would
Right.
think that they sure as shit would have their ducks in a row and know for sure. So that's where I'm hopeful, but not hopeful. Like, hopeful that maybe she didn't do it because forensics facts are facts. But at the same time, because if she didn't do it, then
It
here we
was
go.
enough to get an arrest, though. That's my thing. Whoever her
Right.
attorney is or was, damn good.
I'm wouldn't be surprised if it was Jose Baez.
Maybe she dated him too. Kidding. Kidding.
True. Who knows?
I got something stuck in my tooth.
No,
I've been messing with it. I'm sorry.
that's okay. So, how about we play a little game because I'm sad after that.
It is a sad story. It really is. And to think that
Mm,
he didn't get the justice that he deserved. I don't know. I don't like those cases. I mean, I like them, but I don't like them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like them when they're found safe or something, but
I'm
that
nosy. I
never.
need to know.
I know, I know. So I hope, like, if there's any case that I hope really comes to light and flourishes, it's this one.
Yeah. The little baby boy deserves it.
Yes, absolutely.
Ow.
But I got a fun game.
Okay, what's the fun game?
It's Would You Rather for Crime and Chaos.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So I'm just going to rattle you off some and you can tell me what you would pick.
Okay. Sounds good to
All
me.
right. Would you rather accidentally stumble upon a crime scene, we'll say murder, while you're out on a date with your husband, or discover that your neighbor has been running a secret underground casino?
Dude, I'd pick the underground casino because
Yeah.
you know what? I'm going to blackmail.
Yeah. Huh?
Pay you have enough money to have an underground casino, you have enough to pay me hush money.
Yep.
If DT can get away with it, so can I.
Well, here we go. Here we go. I agree. That's what
Okay.
I would do too.
Sorry.
So
I
you're
went there.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Would you rather wake up in the middle of the night because of a robbery and have to pretend you're part of the heist, or be the first person to witness a ghostly apparition but have no one believe you afterward?
Oh, the first one sounds like I could really fuck around and fuck with somebody,
Uh-huh.
right? Or I would just you know how animals they like play dead on their back and they're just like this.
Mhm.
Maybe I already play dead and they would leave me alone.
Right, that was my thought. That's exactly what I thought. Like, sometimes I trick myself into sleeping, so I feel like I could trick myself into being almost dead.
No, because then I would stop breathing.
True.
Yeah, no. The mind is a very powerful thing. I think so. I mean, yeah, the second one, because I mean, it happens already.
Okay. So, my last one. Would you rather live in a small town where everyone secretly worships a demon or live in a huge city where it's rumored that the mafia controls everything?
I mean,
Tough
the
crowd.
demon, tough crowd. I mean, I live in a small town already, and half of them worship a demon. Cut that out. Okay, so worship a small town, worshiping demon, or live in a big city where the mafia controls everything. I
Mhm.
mean, I'd probably choose the mafia because
Mhm.
did you watch Mafia Wives or Mob
Mob
Wives?
wives? Girl, yeah, every single never missed an episode.
Dude, I'd make friends with the mafia's wives because
Yeah.
you know that they can cook some good food.
Yeah, and they're going to have your back.
They're gonna have your back, one.
Mhm.
They're gonna give you great tips and tell you how they feel to your face, so you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about two-face. And I mean, you got connections. So, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. Can you hook me up? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. I'm not
Easy
into
peasy.
demons, honey. No. I don't care for a big city to live in, but I will to not be surrounded by demon people. So, guess I'm
But
going to New York.
you're best friends with the demon.
She's nice. She's a good one though.
Other people have other opinions on me. On me. I'm calling myself out. Let's call the kettle black, right? Or wait,
Yeah.
that's like calling the kettle calling the pot black. I don't know.
Boy,
Just
that's a tough one.
I don't know. It's late. We're not used to well, I guess we've recorded later, but I'm tired for some reason. I haven't had my coffee or my energy drink today.
You haven't had 1,200 milligrams of caffeine.
No, I literally haven't. I had a Big B Red Bull mocktail. That was it.
Love it.
I know, but dinner made me really tired. I don't know why.
Well, you go, wash your face, brush your teeth. I'll take my blood pressure pills, and we'll meet back up next
Yes.
week for a brand new state,
Brand new. Where we
Massachusetts.
Salem witch trials.
For sure, that's going to be done.
What is it? Lizzie Borden had an axe and gave her father 7 whacks. I think
The
that's how it
hell?
goes. Yeah, I think it's just a little teaser.
Okay. So I'm here for it. I'm actually really excited for Massachusetts. I don't know why, because never been.
It's
But
Massachusetts.
yeah. So stay chaotic, have the day you deserve,
Or don't.
and love you. Bye.
Peace.
The Crime and Chaos podcast features discussions and investigations that may include mature themes and content not suitable for listeners under the age of 18. Our episodes often present opinion-based investigations, and some names may be changed to protect the identities. Listener discretion is advised. And if you enjoy what you hear on Crime and Chaos, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our podcast. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue bringing the content that you love. And don't forget to rate us. Your feedback is invaluable and helps us improve. Join our community and stay updated on our latest episodes. Thank you for listening.
The curtain is drawn. How far we've fallen. I'm out on the run.